Check, is that better? Alrighty. So, man, good way to start the week. I got a segment of my Deadpool and Wolverine review done. Uh, yeah, I pretty much got the outline of how I want my Back to the Future video done. So, all I gotta do is voice recording and, of course, add some stupid from the movie clips, and then I'll be done. And also some music, too. Folks, feel free to let me know in the comments, like, what music from what video game would you like me to see? Alright, what royalty-free music or video game music? Because for some reason, video game companies are not as copyright trigger happy when it comes to video game music. Like, that's why we all use Super Smash Bros. Music in theme park videos of all things. Yeah. So, Noah Centineo has been cast as, Rambo. The only thing I saw Noah Centineo in is, what is it, Black Adam? He played Atom Smasher. And he was good. He was good in that movie. You know, not the best movie ever made, but still, you know, the actors did their best. Of course, everyone can agree that Pierce Bronson was great as Dr. Fate. I did not like Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. But the person will be so good with the role. It doesn't matter the skin. No, Aldous Hodge was shit. He barely did shit. He's Falcon, but 10 times cooler. And yes, I do make the comparison because he's B-L-A-C-K. I'm an idiot. Actually, here's a fun fact about Noah Centineo. He's the son of a guy who made a Wizard of Oz kids movie called Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return. My god, I remember seeing that movie in the theater back in 2014 when I just turned 8. Holy shit, I can't believe that was 10 years ago now. 11 years ago now, holy crap. And there was only, like, one other family in the theater. It was me and my mom, and then there was another family. Alright, I think it was, like, a bunch of daughters. Makes sense, because that's probably the movie's target demographic. But, yeah, looking back on that movie, because I watched it a few times, after I grew up, why the hell is, how are they able to get Dan Aykroyd or Jim Belushi? I swear to God, if John Belushi was still alive, he'd probably be chosen to be in that movie. I mean, I guess Jim is kind of a blues brother. You got two blues brothers. You also got Kelsey Grammer, Patrick Stewart. I don't know why. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is Noah is the son of the guy who made that movie, and apparently he did a lot of illegal funding for it. I recommend watching Animat's videos on it. Now, Animat is a piece of shit in real life, alright? I reckon you don't support the guy, alright, because he's a terrible, extremist human being. He's the fucking... No. Comparing him to Howard Stern is calling him a sellout. He's the Rachel Zegler of YouTube. That's a better thing. You know? Like, he's that far left, and I don't think you should support him that much as a person, but yeah, I do recommend his Legends of Oz video. That's, like, great history, you know? I used to like the guy. I used to like him a lot, and then he became an asshole. He's like fucking, he's people who wanted, God, what the fuck was his name? Hunter Schafer as, Zelda far left. I don't know if he wants that, but if he wanted that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. So, what else is going on? Oh yeah, speaking of Hawkman, comic collection comes out next week. Hopefully I make a video out of that. Yeah, I guess the comics I'm going to read all throughout the next 3 months are going to be Halloween related. I can't guarantee that anything else that I have planned for a video is going to become a comic obscurity episode, but I will write and I will make thumbnails, because I always do that. I always do that very, very far in advance. Sometimes it doesn't come to fruition, sometimes it does. Let's see. What else is on here? Is there any shenanigans happening on Discord? My biggest question is, folks, why do dogs eat their own shit? I ask that because one of our dogs, Chewy, got into both litter boxes, separate parts of the house. It's like, why do they do that? I know animals have all their different tastes, but what do they find appealing about shit? My god, the two girls, one cup comparisons. Woo-wee! I'm sorry, I do not want to... Oh my god. Nick, are you serious, Nick Searcy? What? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so basically, Billy Joel had a new documentary on HBO Max. But first I need to see if there's anyone in the chat. Nope, not yet. So Nick Searcy, who I follow on Twitter, says there's a new documentary on Max, and Billy Joel apparently says there's fine people on both sides. And the Tom Hanks produced movie, but cuts away before the very next thing Trump said, which was, and I'm not talking about Nazis, white supremacists, they should be condemned completely. An otherwise terrific movie about his music and his married, but as usual, by leftist politics, which they cannot stop themselves from rejecting into. They leave that out. The whole new bunch of Piano Man fans will think that Trump loves Nazis. Hold on. Lie that the Tom Hanks produced movie, but cuts away before the very next thing Trump said, which was, I'm not talking about the Nazis and white supremacists, they should be condemned completely. So... Oh, yeah. Yeah, the left is filled with a bunch of fucking monsters. They know they are lying, they will never stop because they know that the zombies who want to hate MAGA want to believe the lie, and will never stop believing it because it makes them feel superior and it strokes their self-righteous narcissistic image. That is true, and until conservatives start investing in entertainment to combat this willful, agenda-driven lying, the truth will continue to suffer, sick and sad, and for more truth, treat yourself to an autographed copy of my book, Justify This, DM me for details. Okay, new version of this post. What is it? Okay, so I guess I'm not watching the documentary then, but I think it's probably yeah. Yeah, what the fuck has happened to Tom Hanks? The dude is one of my favorite actors, literally. I think I said that on my Polar Express video. Uh, and why is this in a fucking Billy Joel commentary? Yeah, just sad. Just fucking sad, the world we live in. Yeah, so many celebrities have become radicalized. And yeah, so many celebrities have become radicalized to the other side. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if they've been always like this. I don't know if they've been told to be like this, but man. I don't know if they thought it's just the cool way, but given that some of them are still continuing to act and talk that way, just breaks my heart. So yeah, I guess I won't be listening to a Billy Joel song in quite a bit. I haven't listened to a fucking Bruce Springsteen song in a bit. Last time I listened to Born in the USA, which I usually listen to on the 4th of July, I listened to it at the Savannah Banana, which again, I wasn't a fan of. And also, why the fuck are people so obsessed with the idea of Trump being a Nazi? Alright. Like, why are people so obsessed with that? It's like, are you so obsessed with trying to prove that someone you don't like is gonna be a dictator or something? Eh. But yeah, I guess I won't be listening to a Billy Joel song quite a bit. Celebrities are pretty nasty people, I must say. Pretty nasty. Uh, Holy shit. Dean Cain is reposting a lot of ICE arrest. This is. Alright. I don't care to show my screen because I'm looking at this on my phone. These are the kind of people John Leguizamo wants to simp for. Alright, these are the kind of people the left wants to simp for. Alright, thanks to ICE, hold on. Arrested Osvaldo Robiro Alvarez, a 72-year-old criminal alien from Cuba, August 7th, who has been convicted of forgery, trafficking cocaine, trafficking heroin, robbery, and aggravated assault in the U.S. He remains in ICE custody until his removal in the U.S. Okay, so what else? What else is Dean found? Victor Martinez Hernandez gets life without parole for murder of Maryland mother Rachel Morin. Okay. Uh, I think this is the first lady criminal. This is the first black lady criminal I've seen in ICE. That's kind of funny. Most of them are like Mexicans or Hispanics. I don't fucking care. I don't know. Fraud arrest. ICE New Orleans arrested Shakara Danielle Thompson, a citizen of the Bahamas. Her criminal history includes forgery and larceny. Alright, so what else has he found? So it's been pretty much proven that a lot of illegals here are criminals. Yes, I do admit some of them could be just people, happy-go-lucky people trying to look for a new life. But you still can't come in without paperwork. You need paperwork, and once you're fully done, trash, thrown away. You're officially a citizen here. Welcome to this fucking country. So yeah, it's been pretty much proven that, So it's been pretty much proven that a lot of illegals that ICE is deporting in the first place are a bunch of criminals. And the left still wants to simp for them. I do think a good portion of them are probably, no, they're innocent people, no. No, that was supposed to be my second. I do believe a good portion of them want them for votes and to turn the country around. But there's also a lot that are blinded by the lie that all of them are precious little, cute little animals who just looking for a home. God, I fucking feel cringy. Like, I'm trying to think of a movie like that I've watched when I was a kid, but no. And to all the people who want Dean Cain to be a liberal, I don't know, all because he's race swap Superman. He's white passing Superman. All right, I've even seen people on my side of the aisle go, like, Nerdrotic say white passing is a stupid word. I don't think so. As long as you can have a casting that could satisfy both sides, which is it's kind of how I compared Pedro Pascal's casting, except unlike Dean Cain, who does have a little bit of a look like Clark Kent, alright, Pedro Pascal looks nothing like Reed Richards. Again, I've read every Lee and Kirby Fantastic Four comic dub, and I've read a lot of 90s comics when I first got into comics. Fantastic Four No More, the comic that started this journey. I just wanted to nerd out. I know that was a little off topic, but you know me. I'm Undead Nerd. But, So these are the kind of people... Oh, okay. Anyway, I just remember what I was gonna say. If you want to take a counter argument on the Superman thing, all right, like the debates that was sparked by James Gunn. What was I gonna say? We right-wingers, we evil right-wingers, evil fascists, whatever. I'm trying to play in on the joke. Alright? I'm happily calling myself a fascist because, I don't know, you're far beyond repair. There's no convincing you otherwise, so I might as well just play into it. Kill it with kindness, alright? Kill it with kindness is what my parents always say. We're lucky we have a character to fit our counter-argument, like on the subject of immigration. Zod. Zod. Fucking Zod. We have Zod to talk about. We have Zod to make the comparisons about. If you just entered in my stream, or if you're watching a replay of this, the reason why I'm talking about immigration all of a sudden is because, I was on Twitter, and I saw a lot of what Dean Cain is reposting. Oh yeah, okay, so first off, Alicia still is a big gay rights activist on Twitter. There are some times where she kind of gets annoying, which is why I don't really follow her. But this is definitely a policy I disagree with. Making gay marriage illegal again. First of all, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna fucking happen. But if it ever comes close to happening, All right. I disagree with that full on. Not just because I think, not just because I'm a big ally. Not just because I have friends, gay friends who are married, but it's because we live in a different time now, and marriage, I think, should be marriage. Yes, I still think we should teach little kids about this shit. I still got my own views on the subject of this community. I should start a political channel. I've been considering that for a long time. The voice actors from my Fantastic Four comic dub are gonna hate me, but hey. But yeah. Yeah, I support gay marriage. I'm an Elton John fan. Alright. You know, oh, marriage is you're legally together. Alright, you're lovers who are legally together. That's why I support gay marriage. But I can honestly see, as a conservative and a Christian, as to why people don't support it. Because the Bible makes it very clear, homosexuality is a sin. Now, I think God's gonna forgive you. But there's also, and people also think it should be man and woman, because that's the traditional way. Yeah. I could see where you're coming from, but, that's what most people are gonna be. That's why I support gay marriage. Alright. And we're apparently an echo chamber. Us evil, right-wing, anti-woke people were apparently a fucking echo chamber. Dude, I'm an Elton John fan. I just fucking learned recently that Dave Rubin is gay. I did not know that. I did not know he was married and has a kid. I did not know that. Man, I listen to way too much. Okay, when it comes to actual politics, I used to listen to Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh a lot, but those two have kind of gone the deep end. Like, Ben Shapiro became kind of a pussy, and Matt Walsh became a no fun allowed kind of guy, So now I just listen to people like, say, Tyrone Magnus, or, D.A. Cobra, Jeremy, I listen to those when it comes to political information, and also Depressed Ginger. Highly recommend Depressed Ginger's content. Man, maybe the title of this stream is perfect. Okay, I'm deciding to name myself after a lot of late-night talk show hosts because, because of the Greg Gutfeld and Jimmy Fallon interview recently. And I guess I'll share my thoughts on that. So, for the longest time, media has become partisan, very far left, especially late night talk shows, especially Jimmy Fallon himself. Jimmy Fallon, I definitely think is a cool dude. Like, after seeing, so in the pre-show, in the queue for Jimmy Fallon's ride at Universal, there's a couple of videos that show, clips of his show. And I think and from what I've seen from all those, I think he's a cool dude. And there are clips from him back in the day saying, I don't want to talk about politics. I love my show more than I love politics. Alright, this was before Trump got elected. Officially. Alright. So he did stand by that word. So yeah, Fallon has always meant to me, he doesn't need to be neutral. He doesn't need to be a conservative. He can be a liberal all he wants. Just not a dick. Just not like what we talked about with Billy Joel and Tom Hanks recently, not a misinformation, far partisan spreading cunt. Alright, and his interview with Gutfeld proves my point, proves my conclusion that I made many years ago, that I think Fallon's a cool dude, but he's corrupt by politics. Alright, and this interview definitely happened because of Stephen Colbert, but it also happened because, it happened, but it also happened, it could be from the goodness of his heart, like, he literally hugged him on stage, but, Yeah, so I think Fallon is gonna go high in ratings if he continues to interview these kind of people. Like, he could interview Dean Cain, he could interview Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo hasn't been in anything, or at least hasn't been in the news for a long time. Or he could... If Fallon had bigger balls, he'd interview Trump. Alright? I know he's interviewed Trump before, but he'd do it now. If Fallon had bigger balls, he'd interview Trump next week. All right, he'd call up Trump or at least Vance or someone else in the White House. Definitely not Kash Patel. I'm okay. I'll explain that later. But God, I forgot what I was gonna say. My head drifted off into the clouds, thinking about proboscis monkeys in space. But yeah, I think this is the new media going forward. You're gonna see people like Fallon go back to being bipartisan. All right, you know, allowing both sides. You're gonna see that a lot in entertainment. Of course, you're gonna have a lot of people throwing hissy fits about it, like the niche people on Twitter. But it's like they're niche people on Twitter. And but yeah, still, what breaks my heart the most about celebrities now is they've really adopted the mindset of the niche far leftists, like your stereotypical fat pierced ogres that complain about the Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial. All right, that's who a lot of celebrities, particularly ones I used to like, wanted to side with. I still like the work they did, but I don't like them as people anymore. All right? That's exactly what I was talking about earlier with Tom Hanks. But what else is going on? Okay, so when I mentioned Kash Patel, I don't really care about the Epstein files as much as other people do. All right, but I could see why. You know, I would love justice, but if I think I have no clue if we would go over this even if Trump won 2020, but like we should have gotten the list a long time ago. So maybe Trump just feels it's a dated subject. Maybe you know, Trump's too busy with everything going on in the world. But yeah, I don't really care about the Epstein files as much as other people. I can't really explain why, because I'll piss a lot of people off. But yes, I do agree there should be justice for the victims of Epstein. All right, and for all the far leftists on Twitter saying Trump is a pedophile, you do know a lot of people you like are going to be exposed to. The most far leftist of actors and the most far leftist of politicians, you know they were on the island too. All right, I do not think everyone on that list participated in his doings. All right, I am not that much of a lunatic. For now, I don't think Tom Hanks is a pedophile, although I fucking hate the dude's guts now. All right, you can suck a cock for going all partisan. He's probably doing it right now, you know. Tom Hanks. How is Tim Allen still friends with Tom Hanks? Because I do hear they're still close. Because they, of course they're close, because they worked on Toy Story. But what the? But like, what are you still doing with him, Alan? He hates you. If you never worked on Toy Story together, all right. If we lived in the reality of where Billy Crystal was Buzz Lightyear instead of you, a little bit of behind the scenes trivia for you guys. I bet you he'd probably be on a bunch of tirades about you. And now I'm not saying you can't be friends with a liberal, but you sure should not, as hell, be friends with a far leftist. Someone who has made it very clear that they hate your guts. Since you know each other, Tim, I advise that you just smack Tom in the face and say, be careful with your wording. Be careful with what you do in the public. All right, leave the extreme stuff to yourself. Not just for your fans, but for me as well. That's what I hope Tim Allen does. I but yeah, this is just how I view life. I just get this entire stream. It's 11:30 at night and I spent most of the stream talking politics. Man, I should probably do political streams. I'm the evil Republican, everyone. The fascist, the alt-righter. Watch out, boys, the alt-righter's coming. I don't think that's the right song to make that kind of parody. At least rhyme with the lyrics. Make it similar. Uh... Uh... Just making sure, cause when I did the bar didn't come on. Oh god, don't tell me what I think that is. Don't tell me what I think that is. I'm just looking at something else. Nothing that affects you guys. Well, I guess I might as well spend the rest of the night doing weird shit before I go to bed at 12 like I do every night.